Stardew Valley has a bunch of romantic options to choose from, and it can be a bit intimidating choosing a partner. But personally, I decided to go for Shane. I mean, I know he can be quite the controversial partner to choose, but I felt intrigued by him. Maybe it was something about his rude and snarky personality, but at the beginning, I just wanted to be his friend and I wanted to understand him better. It was after some time that I started noticing how deeply emotional and complex his mental state was. Now, I want to analyze his journey as he transitions from a rude, depressed, and alcohol dependent villager to a hopeful and supportive partner. So, when you first meet Shane, it's clear that he doesn't want to talk to you. He's going on with these lines about how he doesn't want to talk to you, how he doesn't know you, how you should just leave him alone. And from the get go, Shane puts up a lot of walls. He's dismissive and straight up rude. But let's not take this personally just yet, because Shane's attitude seems to be more about self preservation than anything else. He doesn't want to engage with anyone because, deep down, he doesn't see himself as worth the effort. This is common behavior for people suffering from depression. They often isolate themselves, either because they believe that others can't understand them or because they're simply overwhelmed by the idea of social interactions, which I can personally understand. And Shane's constant dismissal of you, the player, stems from these feelings of worthlessness, which is something we can see throughout his behavior. In these early stages of the relationship that you're trying to establish with Shane, his depression seems severe. He works a monotonous job at Jojo Mart, which he hates. I mean, we can pick this up from his lines.
Every day is the same. Stocking those horrible shelves, going to the saloon, tossing and turning all night.
He seems to be stuck in this loop, and he doesn't see a way out. This kind of thinking aligns with symptoms of major depressive disorder, where individuals feel like there's no escape from their negative thoughts and lifestyle. And then there's his drinking, because Shane often talks about alcohol. Going to the saloon is a regular part of his routine, and in a way, alcohol becomes his escape. It's his coping mechanism for the despair he feels in his day to day life.
I'll definitely be going to the saloon tonight. What else is there to do?
In this situation, I just think we're looking at someone who is possibly suffering from alcohol dependency, using it as a crutch to numb his feelings. Now, when the player starts getting closer to Shane, let's say around 4 hearts of friendship, things start to shift slightly because Shane begins to drop his defenses a little bit. He starts to open up about little things, and he actually takes accountability for how rude he's being towards you. While this might seem quite of a minor step, it is a huge one for someone who's been so closed up for so long. At this point in the relationship, Shane's depression is still prevalent, but we start to see him acknowledge that there's more beneath the surface. The fact that he has started to apologize for his behavior suggests that he's aware of his actions and knows that his harsh exterior might push people away.
Every time I try something new, it goes horribly wrong. You learn to just stay in a shell.
In this quote, Shane reveals how he's been hurt in the past. He's tried to reach out or change something in his life, but it always ends up badly for him. And he feels sort of helpless because he believes that there's no point in trying because failure kind of seems inevitable. And this is where I think that Shane might be dealing with something called persistent depressive disorder, and it's a chronic form of depression where the individual feels down for long periods of time. In his case, it's clear that he feels stuck, hopeless, and deeply dissatisfied with his life, but he's starting to show some cracks in this armor he has put around himself. And slowly, he has started to show hints that he wants things to be different. I mean, it's obvious that Shane cares about the people in his life, like Jazz and Marnie, but he feels so helpless and worthless that's why he keeps making all the same mistakes, and in a way, he keeps pushing them aside. By the time you have reached around 6 hearts with Shane, you witness one of the most powerful scenes in Stardew Valley, and it's the scene where Shane hits rock bottom. In one of his heart events, you find him passed out in the woods after an apparent attempt at suicide, with empty beer cans scattered around him. This is where Shane's depression and alcoholism comes to a head. In his stupor, he talks about how he's tired of his life and he doesn't see any reason to keep going. This is one of the darkest moments in the game, and it really highlights the depth of his struggle. Shane's attempts to take his own life is a significant moment that points to a possible diagnosis of severe depression with suicidal ideation. However, it's also the turning point in Shane's story, because after this event, Shane agrees to get help. He acknowledges that his drinking and mental health are spiraling out of control and that he can't continue living on this way. Taking accountability for his actions, this is where we start to see his motivation change, and he's actually working towards getting better. Shane's openness towards you about seeking help after his low point suggests a shift in his attitude. While his depression won't magically just disappear, there's this small hope and a realization that maybe, just maybe, he deserves better than the life he's been living. And another key moment is when he says,
I guess I've grown attached to Marnie and Jazz. We're a ragtag bunch, but it kind of feels like a weird family.
his relationships are a key part of his growth. He started as a very distant and cold person, especially towards Marnie and Jazz, and he wasn't very good at accepting his role as Jazz's godfather, which he showed a lot of struggle with having that responsibility. But he deeply cares about her. He was just so wrapped up on his own issues that he wasn't able to fully be there for her first. And as Shane has been able to recover, his relationship with Jazz becomes even more central. He even starts to take pride in helping out with the animals on the farm and looking after Jazz. There's a sense that he's not only rebuilding himself, but also reconciling with those around him. As your relationship as a player deepens with Shane, you begin to see him turn things around. He starts talking more positively about life. Shane is starting to think about the future, about things he might want to do or achieve in the long run. For someone who was previously stuck in a depressive loop of hopelessness, having future goals is a major sign of recovery because they're looking towards their future. While Shane is still dealing with some ups and downs, like moments of self doubt or feeling like he's not good enough, he's much more open and engaged with life. He treats certain occasions with humor, and he also shows how much he appreciates his family, not only you, but Marnie and Jazz. By the time Shane reaches 10 Hearts, his transformation is much more noticeable because he's come from this person who is very hopeless and pushing everyone away to someone who is rebuilding his own life. He even jokes about how surprised he is if you decide to marry him.
Part of me is wondering if this isn't all some elaborate prank. I can't believe you'd actually want to marry someone like me.
He was in the lowest of lows, and now you see him being more optimistic about the perspective he has on his own life. He's finding joy in the small things, which is something we didn't see him do in the beginning. That Shane has found some sense of purpose and belonging, even if it's imperfect. He's no longer as isolated as he once was. He's actually opening up to those that love him and that he loves, and starting to invest more into these relationships that he was previously doing. For someone like Shane, who spends so much time pushing people away, this is huge. And I really do believe that Shane's journey in Stardew Valley is a powerful reminder of the importance of compassion, persistence, and mental health. His story takes us from a place of deep sadness and isolation to a glimmer of hope and healing. While he doesn't get to a point where he's perfect and there's still a lot he needs to improve on, Shane shows that people can change, grow, and learn to live with their mental health challenges rather than be consumed by them. And I think that's a pretty powerful message for all of us.